All right, so you can see here we have just a simple footer down here. So let's work on that real quick. So let's go back to our code editor, our Visual Studio Code. And what we're going to do now is come over here to our footer.js. And remember, this is a stateless component. And let's import real quickly our /footer.css, which doesn't yet exist. Save that. Let's also go ahead and create a footer Sass file. All right, so in our Sass file, we don't have much happening. This is all we have happening, just a reference to footer and the icons. So we'll save that. We'll create our CSS file upon saving. All right, so where it says my footer, I'm just going to paste in real quick the HTML that we created in Vue, and I also ran through the process that we covered earlier of replacing the class to class name. All right, so just in here, I'll paste that in like that. We don't have to give it a class name of app or anything like that, so we can delete that and save it. And now our app looks like this. Very cool. So back and home. All right, so another thing that doesn't work is if we drag this in, our responsive navigation, remember we got rid of all that the Vue directives to make this click stuff work and show the actual mobile menu. Let's go ahead and make that work real quickly as well. So let's go ahead, extend this back over here. And we're going to head on over to our header.js. So now you may be wondering, if you're new to React, we already discovered so far how we handle, for instance, user events like click events in Vue. Well, how do you handle click events, for instance, in React? All right, so this right here, the span class nav toggle, that is the CSS or the HTML, and CSS is responsible for creating that little hamburger icon menu. So right here, when someone clicks on it, we add on click equals, and then we use our interpolation brackets. And this time we just use a single bracket as opposed to two, which is what you do in Vue and Angular. But in React, it's simply one. And then we reference this dot handle click. And by the way, when it comes to this right here, when it comes to a stateless component, such as in our footer, which is a stateless, we don't have access to this, by the way. Just something to kind of be aware of. Also, well, before I move on to this section over here, we'll go ahead up top and we're going to create our handle click method. So just right here, we'll put in handle click. We reference this dot set state, and then the previous state. Inside of here, we're going to reference is toggle on, and then the previous state is toggle on. All right, so this is going to toggle back and forth. What we need to do first is work within a constructor up here. We pass in our props or properties. In React, we call them props. We run super props. This dot state equals is toggle on, and we set it to false by default. Then also underneath here, this dot handle click equals this dot handle click dot bind and this. So a lot of probably confusing stuff happening right now. I'll explain it momentarily though. Looking at this, make sure everything is good to go. All right, so let's save this. Real quickly, I got to fix this typo. Now let's save that. And basically what's happening here is on click, it's going to call our handle click method right here. and we're using this .set state, and this is toggling back and forth. It is toggle on from true and false essentially. And so if we ran it now and we clicked it, nothing would happen. That's because this menu right here, we have to add or attach an isActive class onto it based on when this is clicked. All right, so to do that, just after render right here, we're going to create a property called menuActive. So let menuActive equals this state dot is toggle on. We're using a ternary operator here, so we add the class isActive. Otherwise, simply nothing. All right, so then just over here for our class name, what we do is get rid of this, and we're gonna put them in interpolation brackets. And I'm gonna put in what was just there, which was nav right and nav menu. And then space, and then end a single quote, and we put menu active that we just declared up top, like that. So now we'll save it. And if you bring your browser in enough to see this mobile navigation, we click it, and there we go. We have access to our stuff down here, our drop-down navigation. All right, so also, if you recalled, if you follow along on the first part, this changes to an X if isActive is added as well. So let's do that. So we'll just come right here. I'm going to copy this just so we have the basic scaffolding right here. Remember, it's called nav toggle. That's the current class name. So we'll just replace all that with nav-toggle and save. So now we'll go back, click on it, and now it changes to our X and it animates like that. Awesome. Okay, so now obviously the one huge eyesore is this home component, and we want to take that and turn it into this section right here. All right, so that'll be the next section.